Mange first Diegolo. I'm saying a huge sorry for being late. As you know, man plans and God's like, you know what, it's not gonna happen. So I was planning on coming here at 4 o'clock, but unfortunately, I couldn't make it. This was because of reasons I cannot disclose. But yeah, I'm deeply sorry because I got some text messages. Everyone's like, "Oh, when are you coming on? When are you coming on?" You guys are a bit impatient, you know. I'm an amateur, so you guys need to get with the program. And more kalanguma, but I'm getting there. But I would first and foremost want to say Happy New Year to every single person, every single Muslim. Praying that the Ummah has more and more blessings, healing of the world. Just ne ñaan ne feebar bi dugg si àdduna si na ko yàlla saafara. Again, praying for Gambia, which is my home. Di leen ñaanal ne yal na leen yàlla may kàttan bi ak doole bi ak mën-mën bi pour ñu mun a aar suñ boppa pour ñu mun a fagaru pare faju tamit against this coronavirus that unfortunately is taking way too many lives already. Yal nañu yàlla may sabri ak shifa suñ biir. Di ñaanal aji jiitu yi ñëpp yal na leen yàlla xare ajana, yal na leen yàlla may suuku sedda, yal na leen yàlla yërëm seen sarax des ci seen njaboot seen loxo njaboot. Di nuyu frontliners yi yëpp di leen ñaanal yal na leen yàlla may kàttan ak muñ, yal na leen yàlla may xoli muñ pour it's not easy lu ñoo def képp koo xam ne yaa ngi nekk ci medical field bi tamit yàlla doole la yàlla boo leen wéet yàlla leen yàlla wéetali gunge leen parce que xam naa ne yéen a ngi gis yu doy waar fu mu nekk nii waaye ñu ngi ñaan yàlla doole leen muñ yàlla doole leen just the capability and the heart to continue the great work you're doing at the moment. maa ngi nuyu kilifa diine and everybody that's watching this right now. Welcome to the Chit Chat Show with Chat. It's my third show. My first show was more general. The second show was more about Union. But I'm going to touch on something that a lot of people were like, I can't wait to hear what you're about to say. First and foremost, I've only been married for 4 years. But I believe hell, you learn from experiences and what you observe outside, and you learn from other people's experiences. But nobody can actually tell you what marriage is all about unless you do it for yourself. So it doesn't matter if you've been married once, it doesn't matter if you've been married 3 times. Every single experience is not a mistake, it is a lesson. And yeah, I'm just gonna dive right into the topic. My topic today is marriage is an empty box. And the reason why I believe that marriage is an empty box is because it's forget what you learn or what the experiences you've been through in a relationship. I will tell you, it is not like dating whatsoever. It's a completely different ball game. When I say it's a completely different ball game, it means shit gets real when you get married. Like I said before, it's nothing that you'll experience. To tell you how real marriage is the first night. The first night you spend the night with your husband or your wife, and you wake up in the morning and you see drool coming down the side of his face. You see her eyelash here, and yaingis putikame or kondrolami, and you wake up and you're like, this is it. Like, you wake up and you're like, oh wow, hamga, this is it. And in the first 3 months, it's all honeymoon phase. Even first 3 years, it's all honeymoon phase. You have like a, it's like you're in a bubble of affection and intimacy, and you're all lovey-dovey. And for some people, it's actually shorter than 3 years, but I'm just scaling it on a three-year ratio. Basically, yeah, when you first get married, the beginning of, even before, prior to the wedding, that's when you lose control of things, because that's when family gets involved. And it's hard enough being Gambian. It's hard enough having expectations from Sanjiki and your goros and your elders, and the first say they mom harela, say they mom danga duga ngamuñ. But I think that our generation has completely changed that narrative, because we are more, we're more expressive of how we feel. The things, as a woman, the things that Sunyai then could because we are in a different generation. I'm not talking about education here. I'm talking about a different generation. I mean, our environment is different. Ninyose is different. You have things, sexual pleasure is different. You're being more experimentative. You've got so many other influences from the outside coming in, and before you even get married, that's when you lose control of, if you're not careful, you lose control of your marriage. I believe that marriage is something that you need to go in and have zero expectations, but you have to have 3 fundamental things that carry you, which is gomiala, which is the first thing. Whatever comes, whatever lepp lu mun di xew, sëy yàlla moo ko dee tudda si diggante ñaari nit. Ñaareel bi, it's compromise. You go into marriage thinking, oh, I'm going to be the same person that used to go out, beyond the going out. Some people are introverts, some people are the opposite. Some people tend to want their own personal space. So it's important that you go into a marriage knowing that there will be days when you will not be able to stand your partner. There will be days when you will not be able to sit in the same room as your partner. Not because you hate them, but because you also need your space. It's important to give each other space to breathe. If you don't give each other space to breathe, you will not grow. You will not be able to communicate. And this is why when you actually do have fights are an indication of a healthy relationship. If you're not fighting each other, then someone is lying. You know, it's important that you go in knowing that times will get hard. What's like you will go into marriage thinking, oh, when I get married, we're gonna live in a big house. We're gonna have cars lined up. We're gonna go on shopping sprees together. Blah 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 blah. All those things take work. You can get married to the richest man, or the man that's the wealthiest man on planet Earth, and at the end of the day, he can treat you like dirt. And it's not the reason why he's probably treating you like dirt. It's probably he's seen that. A man will treat you the way you treat him sometimes. And I'm gonna touch on something. Just touch on it. When people tend to forget that the way you have female abuse and abuse in marriages and relationships and past experiences, those things can actually happen to men too. So unfortunately for the good man, the man that is ready to be faithful, to cook for you, to clean for you, be sisters of me or baja na me because you know yo ya na go sa jaba de la toga lo wala de la wallo kani and things like that. For that kind of man, it's really unfortunate because usually duñ tase jabar bo hamne, they appreciate those things. I mean, marriage, when you go into marriage, you need to understand that the first stage of it is not a fantasy, but it's a reality check. It's a huge reality check. And they say, some people say, oh, marriage is about me and my partner. Man mas majikarek. You're wrong. Every single person has a role to play within your family. I'm not talking about external factors here. I'm not talking about the friends that call you up and tell you, oh, yeah, no. I'm talking about the sect, the family itself. Every single member has a role to play. But the funny thing is, the thing that people need to make concrete is that kuneka amna foi em sisase. If you cannot control the boundaries of people within your family interfering with your marital home, then you're in for a big ass surprise, because nobody does not like a bit of gossip and a bit of drama. So don't allow your marriage to be that gossip and that drama. Another thing that people need to understand I'm talking about prior to the marriage. Gambians have a tendency of, oh, diusanga mungesi ki sayon nanyati yon, or bukase, bukotaka, or is it your business? Like I said before, it's hard enough being Gambian, but it's even harder to try and portray an image that isn't you. Lord Dort more they continue. I have seen women give men they're not married to the privileges of a husband. And the sad part about that, usually sorry def lolu, what happens is duñ la taka. Because if you're going to be there for him, diko togal, boyfriend la la wade, diko parcel, diko photo, diko, you know, like, oh baby, them feed them tago pulgina, and you're or you know, all those things that should be coming into your marriage, yanko def si beginning bi muminla, you know, muminla. So let me ne kanya lataka. Every single person needs to set a boundary, and a reality boundary. If you're broke, bruh, so faking amulo halis, bro, tell the girl I ain't got jack. If you are a woman and you, let's say the issue of let's say virginity, I'm not a virgin. Be honest enough to tell your husband, you know what? Monday, man, I've slept with X, Y, and Z. Nehuta digga, but at least he will appreciate your honesty. Moge mudem besibir, gen in the hunter, mudem taka like and feka. At the end of the day, it's nobody's business. But because of the society that we live in, most people are like, oh, or most people, family members are like, oh, kon kidon daw. Who's send you on? Who's is it your business? Then you have a wedding that's grand. Some people don't want big weddings. Some people just want to have a few of their friends around. I mean, half of the people, okay, that have weddings that cost 2 millions and 3 millions and X, Y, and Z's, like tables and decor and all of that. Most of these weddings, I'm sorry, they don't last. Because maybe, just maybe, that's not what you wanted. Just maybe, halis bobu munonna start sampakir bolen wara deka. Just maybe, that's not lingen buga. So why is it hard for people to just accept two people that want to get married under the circumstances that they want to get married in or under? Why is it everybody's business when it comes to choosing the right partner? Maneka at the age of, let's say the average age of a guy getting married is 28, 29 in Banjo. I have seen men who have lied to their parents and told them, mommy, daddy, man virgin lad, how much again? They're laughing. You're lying, but you're lying. Be honest enough to your parents to say, you know what? This is the situation. Kila bugataka se ase anami la bugatake. Lila mun simon fila muna em. Fufla muna em. And jigéen bi moo ñëw mu fekkas la si loolu because lu nekk diine moo ko lal ngay Christian ngay Muslim ngay anything diine gi moo waral lal say respect, compromise ak déggoo. You guys have to communicate. Right now the ratio of divorce in Gambia has gone up, or in Gambian marriages. I'm not talking about Gambians like I'm talking about the diaspora as well. Say yange tas over some nonsense bo hamne ñom ci sen bopa they don't even know fan la ciow bu joge ñom li ci xam rek moy ne munatu ñoo dem. You have couples that are living together now. People are working from home. So if you're working from home, it means you're with your partner 24/7. And if your husband cannot help you with the kids, changing a diaper, if your husband cannot help you with the cooking, if your husband cannot help you to even just tihale for a while you get your own brain space and you can do the vice versa for him, then you're going down the road of divorce. You will not make it. I keep on saying the coronavirus is a test. It is a test for how we interact as couples, because my topic is marriage. I'm talking about couples. If you have nothing in common with your wife, things are not going to work. If you have secrets, things are not going to work. Half of the people I know have secrets. I mean, it all starts from little things like the door was a jakar digga when you're going out. Gawara tagu. The issue of tagu. It's in the Quran. You're supposed to tell your husband or your wife. They forget about that. You're supposed to tell your spouse, fan ngay dem. Ak naw fa deme. Ak how you comport yourself to show ne okay man nit kuy say la. But most of the situations right now are nobody to be the bari. Yaa ngeen wax sa jëkkër ne okay maa ngi dem X nga fële ci X Y and Z. Already you're creating distrust. Already you're making excuses. Already, I mean, there's a thing about what you call it, infidelity in Gambia. Can nangu ko discuss, but it's happening. Women and men are cheating on each other, and the reason being is parce que luñ fa expectoon moo naxante bi moo bari woon si beginning bi ba nga xam ne soo leen wanee continuer seen sëy bi, it's either you accept the person has how they are ak flaws am, or yaa ngee gis ne the person is not what you expected. And I'm one of those people that I believe ne okay su dara du dem you try again so de munta dem ngeen tas moo gën ngeen di saacoo fii. You go out, you hang out, you yahasatur for nothing. You know, you have women that have cheated on their husbands, and the situation is dunyo warek moy ne nangko sutural. Danko sutural jigen nangko sutural. Why because góor bi defé dañ ko siwal. Ne wa góor bi baaxut. Ni la def ne la def. O góor bi mu ngey fo, o mu ngey génn di njalo sibiti and all that, am affair sibiti, but the reality is ne lumbuga si keram amuko. You have women that will not have sex with their husbands because yanko nyan something munul lokojo maybe, and I'm saying munul lokojo, I'm just gonna give the person the benefit of the doubt. Munul lokojo, so I'm gonna okay man dina find my enemies sister man dina ko lijanti fenen. And boko insecure be good. The men are not blind. They know exactly what's going on. So he will brush it under the carpet sometimes. He will turn a blind eye once in a while. But eventually, the far again and them uti julumbuga. No man wants to come home to a woman. Okay, example, VU. We talk about VU all the time. Go to them company. Oh, I'm hanging with the guys. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, it's okay for you to do that. But usually, in most circumstances, I'm not going to your because of the way they are being treated at home. Mm. If a home does not have a structure, it will not work. It's not about money. It's not about the food you eat. It's about the comfort, the care, and the love and the respect that you have at your house. Every man wants to be catered for, and every woman wants to be looked after. But there has to be a point where you guys compromise and say, you know what, Te Nila, let's do this. Elek Nila, let's do this. Or find a solution to your problems. The biggest mistake people do when you get into a fight with your spouse is not communicate. If you have a problem with your husband, you should be in a position to say, you know what, li nga ma def li mo ma nahari, si respect. And you know, see in a way bo hamne koko du gawa gis bopam. I'm a woman. I know how we can get. We can be very, very vindictive. We can be very spiteful. And men likewise. But that does not move any relationship forward. There's one thing, one of the few things you might ever say, never go to bed, never ever go to bed on an argument, because you're going to wake up with the same ass argument. And that same argument will turn into tongo. And if a husband and a wife cannot talk to each other, they start talking to people outside. And unyungen sen sutura. And that's how it starts. Because that friend that go have the young console mom to go what's the problems. Mom tell me I'm not Kenan Kumawa. Can Coco tell me I'm not Kenan Kumawa. Can it come? And that's how rumors spread. And every single time that story or that complaint or that situation is being explained, the story gets changed. The story completely gets changed. But I'm not your hamne. Ninyo today senje kare goody sadin ko neta listen harit. Like wow, how you doing? Jangha nakam. Hey, dear Melumoko def goody. Who needs to know that? Who needs to know that? Then you have a situation more hamne, baseball hamne, because man hamna ni man harit at all. Any relationship, surpassing suma relationships, suma digante, suma de, ak suma bay, ak luneka, I'm not back in. I'm not time frame. People go into marriages thinking their marriage will last forever. But sometimes a marriage does not last forever. And divorce can be a horrible thing. And divorce can be a disgusting experience, like a traumatizing experience. But then could they text you for and if one for their tech moine jigen be nango to say. Wala gorbi do they talk kiram. Everything we do in life is about compromise and conversation. If you do not talk to your spouse, you will not come to an agreement to have a loving home. And a loving home is not based on material things. It is not based on constant love. It is based on sacrifice, compromise, and understanding. Somebody just sent me a message on my WhatsApp. My WhatsApp is open. It's 722 plus 221 7722 84089. You can send in a message if you have a question or something like that. But somebody just sent me a message saying, what do you think about the mother-in-laws that don't allow you to, I need to check. The mother-in-laws that don't allow you to say nilane, basically. I mean, okay, yow sooy sëy yaa ngi bàyyi sa yaay fekk ne mu ngay dund ba léegi am na noo doon doxalee sa yaay. I'll tell you the first experience or first encounter su fekkee ne jigéen buy su fekkee ne yaa ngi ñëw sëy si, let's go back pre-marriage góor bi ñëw sëy si nga ne ko ñëwal dugga si nga toog a man nga toog góor bi dafa seetlu li nga doxalee sa yaay, dafa seetlu li nga doxalee sa kër, dafa seetlu naka nga mel ak sa family, dafa seetlu everything. Sometimes some of us can be fake nag, and nag daf laa leen ne kii mu ngi seetlu sa yëf. So you put on a show. Jigéen ñi Banjul aka mun a théâtre suñu neexee. So you put on the show and you make sure he sees you interacting with your mom and your parents and your elders. Xam nga ngay hawaru sax nga siga xam nga di jaay, you know, I'm all innocent and etc. Why ku nekk xam nga sa waay. Because bés boo sëyee moom yaa ngi anticipate loolu si mu ngi anticipate loolu si diggante yaayam ak yow. He's expecting that same cordial attention, same respect, same caring, same whatever. Waaye dama leen di xamal ne whatever you start in the beginning of your marriage, loolu soo ko mënta continuer du sa boppa ngay sonal. If you go into a marriage depending on you're gonna give his mom ganila every month, you're gonna give her money, you're gonna dress the njekes for Julie, you're going to yakale 99 ball. What if baseball hamne yala teleteretu ko amuloo ko? What if danga toog ne man de awma ko sa njëkkee naan moom day tay de moom daf ko bañ a def fekk li nga startoon you can't continue. So it's the same thing with your mother-in-law. If you go in with your mother-in-law nga jàppe comme ni nga jàppe sa ndey, and yow nit ki yaa xam naka nga jàppe sa yaay, but I would expect ne say yaay ak fu mu toll ak ni mère ak ndey mel si doom. If you go into every single marriage with that mentality, then yaa ngi def la war. Waaye am na mère yoo xam ne dañoo sëy seen sëy bugga sëy doom yi. And this is the same experience this girl is talking about. She is talking about how at 12 o'clock, because I talk to her on the regular. This is someone that I know. Dafa say tada jëkkëram guddi na ngeen di waxtaan, you know, you have cuuraay and your bin-bins and yéen a ngi seen olala di def lu mu leen neex nag. Xale yi tili nañ sa goro kool la ni ko ooyee paate suba dama bëggoon soo ñëwoon si suba soo xëyee suba nga ñëw si kër bi dama la soxla. At what point dañoo waxtaan, and I'm just talking to the men here, is it okay for your mother to call you at that hour? Absolutely. But bés boo wéetoo sa yaay nga ne ko mère Monday, you know, let's be honest here. Monday, bëggoon naa ñu waxtaan. You know, bëggoon naa ñu waxtaan si ne everything on the limit, and you have to set a boundary you have to set a boundary for respect for your marriage. Telephones, I'm sorry, goody. There's a time where a phone should go off if you're married. There's a time for when your friends should call and your friends should visit when you're married. Especially when you have kids. There should be a boundary for every single person you know when you get married. But Gambian bi rek laa gis ne xaaju guddi sa boy daf laa ko ne ko boy nagam nag say ndoo bi kay he's talking about his experiences. Hi, Haruna. He's talking about his experiences with his side pieces to your husband. And you're sitting there looking at your husband like, okay, yo, he's living his best life. Thank God for quarantine. Bilahi. It's a blessing for us in disguise. Na corona den, why quarantine me munna fedes. And he's talking about its accomplishments. Like, boy, ndo bi would ngen bala masikado with it. Boy, bi moko hale bi moko jape moko def. And your husband, if freaking amulo jekabu am here, your husband's there like, hey boy, ngara naka ngo def nak. I'm sorry, that lolu is the biggest disrespect to your wife. Because one, munge ini nyanjo ta sendingante. Number two, she's looking at you like, is this brother doing the same thing too? And in most cases, your husband is probably innocent. Man, I like to give my brothers the benefit of the doubt. But they can never defend. They can never defend. Jigeni likewise. When it's time to say, take us a telephone, take us to social media, nga toga, nga watanal ko, rub his feet, rub his back, make sure that he's okay, make sure that your husband does not have to go to a VU to have a proper conversation. Yeah, boys talk, amna. Why, like, marital conversations are crucial for moving forward. This is where you plan. This is where you understand each other and how you're feeling. This is where when you intimacy is just not sex. If marriage was just about sex, doing them. Marriage is not just about sex. Marriage is when two souls are coming together. Ngene, okay, I'm going in with all expectations. And if I don't meet those expectations, I'm gonna work on myself, and I'm gonna work on trying to build my relationship. That's what marriage is. Marriage is saying yes sometimes to things that you don't even agree to. Marriage is, so wife needs compassion, and she needs you to hold her and to tell her that she's doing okay. Even though you know that you can't guarantee anything, you just give her the promise of things are going to get better. And you try to fulfill those promises. But like I said, it's hard enough being Gambian, but it's even hard enough when you see all these social media marriages, man. Say Facebook is so, it's like, there's no sutura from the wedding right down to even to Namur. I mean, okay, there's I said this in my last show. Say it's even Moor, okay, example, Moor. Fuñ na tere bo ak dugu. Ngay nata. Ñu nañ na Moor Arabi what a feñ. Things like that. Like, oh, my husband bought me a brand new car as Bay May Bunjeka. Or that we're going to the spa together. You're taking pictures of you and your husband at the spa. Yeah, it's a life la. It's a life la. But there are certain things that you should keep off social media. And those are the things that I see on social media. And it's scary because whether we like it or not, Islam was an evil eye. Ñun suñ biir chat moo ñu bëgg a rey. Danga gis ko xamne, you know, I see some ridiculous, okay, example. When a man and a woman have an argument, if you're a social media, if you're a Facebook couple, let's just call them the Facebook couple. Sunhuloe, you could tell, because they always start showing each other memes, like they do these meme quarrels, like huloe memes. Oh, a happy wife is a wife, and a happy man is when he's I don't even know. But the memes exist. And you see meme wars between two people that are married, and you're like, Hanani bohunkir. Especially during quarantine. Like, if you have something to tell your partner, just tell your partner. Another thing I've noticed in Gambian marriages and the fight to stay married is I'm gonna laugh when I say this. Is excuse me. Is when two people that are married tend to feel like okay, ñun jigéen ñi dañ dee ñu góor. I'm sorry, we can be like really obsessive. Like we tend to be very obsessive. Like I'll say Charno because I'm married to Chair. Chair Foneka. Looy def koy àndal sooy ñëw jëndaa leen ma lii ak 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 I'm like, okay, this guy is probably thinking, can I just get some air? Can I just sit and hold my phone? And I'm sure he's probably thinking, yes, Chad, you do that. But it's important sometimes to just give your spouse some space. And then with that space, what do you do with that space? How productive are you with that space that you're being given? You have problems where we have sister-in-laws that don't know how to mind their business. We all have a sister-in-law or sister-in-laws that don't know how to mind their business. That think that they know what I say. Set a boundary for that. Be respectable, or whatever, but set a boundary and say, you know what? I love you because you're my brother's sister. You're my husband's sister. But I know what I'm doing. Because I do not do ne. But yo, njëkke bi nga say ak kooku ak sa brother nañ waxante dëgga. I've seen the incidents where njëkke ñoom seen boppa ñoom ñoo if you don't get what you want, if I don't get what I want as njëkke, you also say du neex. And loolu bari na Banjul. Just because I'm married to your brother doesn't mean I have to be your best friend. Te loolu bari na Banjul. And when the two families meet, let's say when Njai becomes Jalo, when the two families meet, that's exactly what they're doing. They're meeting. Sometimes some of us have sisters. I mean, I would not, the worst thing a person could do is get into an argument with your spouse and tell your own parents. You have situations where the njeke will not understand. I've seen that situation where njeke be understand luta jabari broda musuko jo complain. Because it's none of your business. It's none of your business. Because I don't believe that if I talk to you about my matrimonial home, you're going to make the situation better. I won't even trust you enough to tell you. Because one, you will pick a side on your brother's side. And number two, sometimes your marriage is even worse than mine. So how are you going to give me advice? It all falls back onto communication. And communicating in marriage is just that. It's just that. It's just having constructive conversations and building your homes together. Am na ñoo xam ne dañoo complain ne, oh, my wife is not sexually active enough the way I like it. I've seen that because I hang with guys. I hang around a lot of boys because I had a jigéen nag bari wuma ko. You know, but I've seen situations where the women have complained that when they have sex with their spouse or with their husbands, it's a one-side pleasure. And I'm like, okay, so why are you comfortable enough to tell me than to tell your husband that he's not doing it right? Or you like it done this way and that way? But that's another show entirely, and it won't come on around this time of the day. But sex in marriage, Gambian, but then you want to understand ne, it's not just ne go be more to satisfy Bopam. And as if I am a woman, I should be open enough to be as and as sensual as possible for my husband. I should not feel like I need to be embarrassed to come on to him and say, you know what, this is what I want and this is how I want it. And he should, in return, reciprocate the damn thing. This is where we have problems. If we do not talk about things like this, our marriage will be baseless. Our marriage will be based on things you hamne dunyun luñ bugon. So I'm gonna wheel it all back in now. Back to being Gambian and being married. Then you have the marabouts. Then you want to say like, first and foremost, they say balang say duga dang call it have by choice. So la nehe nga gom lolu. But I'm a believe ne mam yalla bu mo binda yegalu don serigne bi, mam yalla bu mo defar yegalu don serigne bi, mam yalla bu mo wax ne ñaar ñi ñoo wara sey serigne bi doonu ci won dara. So yow dooma mëna wax ne o dina la defal lo xamne sa jëkkër dafa toog dem fenn. O dina la defal lo xamne, this is things that women do there. There's another thing that women, you guys are poisoning your husbands, because I have seen and I've heard it. How you use water from and you feed it to your men. How is that supposed to make your husband, they're not talking, mom, because you probably have food poisoning and continuously go to the toilet or get ill and then sick and then whatnot. But man luma wax moy, yow lo munta sey ci sa sey bi, huh? Yow lo munta sey ci sa sey bi, huh? Seri munut la ko seyal. Yow lo fa munta sacrifice. From where? Juka muna from where? From your ngeen balal ma ci cadeau bi. But am na jigéen ñoo xam ne dañoo raxas seen yooyu noonu, you know, the part below the navel. Juka, this is an afternoon show. I can't go into all those details. If they want that show, they can do it after hours with me sometime, and I'll be happy to go into details. But they wash their private parts and give it to their husbands to drink. Apparently, koku def la topa be ila yo bidi. Say you ñoo fi gëna mëna tas. Because lo mëna liggéey góor, or fekkee ne Iblis has passed on or some sort of charm that will work on the guy. Trust me, God is bigger than God. Yalla li mo mëna defar sa dafa bari. Oh, now you think it's funny. But it exists, Juka. It absolutely exists. So man luma wax moy, if we as women depend on not satisfying our husbands, I'm talking from a woman's perspective. I'm going to go into the men as well. But from a woman's perspective, if you're not going to look after your man, if you're not going to cater for your man, if you're not going to put in the effort into this empty box they call marriage, nga dugal fa serintu, nga dugal fa jow ak fen ak fakeness ak ñaaxa topato sa njaboot, nga depend on maid and all of that into this box. Jangha, whatever you put in is what you're going to get out. Men likewise. You can't expect a woman to cater to you 24/7, right? Feka hitna, in this day and age, ñëpp a ngee liggéey. We work. We have jobs, we have careers. Sometimes, I mean, as a parent, I do this. I'm a bad parent. If the fake and I leave, then whatever. Sometimes I hide from my own son, and I'm like, "Che, teal my key, maduga si toilet," and so I can be in there for like hours, or stuff like I'm lying, for at least 30 minutes listening to my music and getting my groove on, that doesn't make me a bad parent. It just means I just need time to reflect on myself and come out of the bathroom or the toilet a better woman. And then my son will be there like, yeah, mommy went to potty. But that's not the point. The point is we as human beings, everybody needs to compromise and accommodate the next person, especially a person that you love. And when I mean accommodate, when you get married to someone and she's a size 8 or whatever, I'm just speaking in terms. You marry her, she has no stretch marks. She has perky breast. She has the perfect wang. She has the perfect complexion. She's beautiful. Most men after one child, second child, are doing the whole thing. And this is the box that I'm considering with men. We bring children into this world, and it's a very difficult process, emotionally, physically, mentally. If you cannot provide a safe haven for her with all that comes with it, then you need to reflect on yourself and realize why you married this woman in the first place. And going back to care, most of the Gambian men don't see the reason why they want to Japalas and Jabari. And that's sad. I should be in a position to say, you know what, I actually could say this. My spouse is supportive. You know, he's amazing. He does this. But I've heard stories from Gambian women where their husbands won't do anything. You know, cook, clean, provide, and everything. And at night, suñ defee loolu yëpp ñu bugg a laa tëddu, like ñu bugg a am time ak yow, ñu bugg a am sex ak yow, fekk sa yaram bi soona na. And men tend to forget that. Certain men need to know that. If you do not help her domestically or mentally, or make her laugh, or make her feel like she's wanted during the day, and you want to make her feel wanted at night, don't be surprised if she rejects you. Don't be surprised if she does not want you to come next to her, because the first one. And I'm not talking about physically sauna. I'm talking about mentally. She cannot connect with you because like we're living in a time of quarantine. We're all living together. We are the way God has made it is together. We have to stay in the same place. What about those people in long distance marriages? And there have been incidents in the past where góor dafay bàyyi jabaram gannaaw, kooku def lu ko neex, jigéen ngoro yi di kool, oh sa jabar day dox rek, oh sa jabar day du fi ñëw, oh sa jabar day waa ji is like, yeah, you know what, doo dee dem suma kër yaay, doo dee toppatoo lii, you're not doing what you're supposed to do. But what has happened in the past in some situations is jigéen bi dafa njaalo and mu am doom, and usually doom bi is either dañ ko accept and they're like, hay kii ngeen baala ma si kaddu daf doon jaay boppam, or jigéen bu bon la, or excuse me, caga la. But fekka yaa ngi ko bàyyi fii for months on end, xamal nga ko sa boppa ba pare nga bàyyi ko fi lu yaaga, nga expect ne kooku du nit pour war a am needs, you know. And she maybe she did it once or twice, who knows. I'm not justifying a woman having an affair. But I'm just saying that there's sometimes some really, really, really desperate situations where women have been victimized for things that there are other truths and other reasons that lead to her acts. You have men that it's okay so they get out, or when you're away or whatever, yaa ngee fo ñun kaa ngee fo di fo si góor rek yaa ngee fo di fo di fo di fo nga war a ñëw nga pour am doom ak sa jabar and you can't get pregnant because at the end of the day, fertility problems exist with men, and people tend to forget that. So automatically, problem is jigéen bi la. 60% or even not more of issues that people finger point within marriages are pointed at women, and most of the time it's not us. But on the contrary, you have men, your hamne, they're faithful, they're good men, and jigéen you learn what I deserve. God has placed on this earth a partner for everybody. Everybody has a partner. Yàlla daf dee jaarale daf dina la jaarale su lu metti. Sometimes it's a forced say. I'm talking to people that have been married in their second marriages or third marriages. But yàlla bindu ko si alxuraan you get it right the first time. Yàlla bindu ko fen. Yàlla binda na ne dagalal na tas. But in somewhat he does not sit na ko at the same time. Du lu ko gënal. But binda na ko. Am na ñoo xam ne seen first say was an absolute disaster because you are getting married for the wrong reasons. Right now, say bari nañ because of coronavirus. Ken buuta wait. Ken buuta nekk moom kenna. Some people are getting married because of weeri koor marriages. So weeri koor bi jeexee nga pass bagaas ne maa ngi dem toog suma kër yaay. But marriage is beyond that. If you cannot sacrifice your soul, your heart, your all, and just put it in that box with honesty, Jangha or my brother, don't do it. It's okay to get married late. It's okay to want to wait for the right person. Nobody should be pressurized in this day and age, who say, nobody. The right time, so what to be getting? Trust me, the right person will come into your life and you will build the home that you dream, not only dreamed of, but that you want. You know, I feel like I'm going to add an extra 10 minutes to my show. I was supposed to be out of here in like 5 minutes ago, but I just feel like let me just continue talking because I'm getting messages and the messages are like, yeah, why is there so much pressure? Like when you finish, when Sonic at them school, and go to them school, so you get school, and go to say, so you get say, and go to I'm dumb. Then they start calculating. Billahi, I'm not having you some better. You're gonna have some menstrual cycle because they're like, this I'm a big boy from there. Can you Is it your business? Is it your business? Is it your business? There are some people that only want one child. Gambia. With the way the university fees are going up, who can have 6 or 7 children? Ore guy, can I fi muna jur football team? Can? It's not even healthy, Bena. Yala binu ko fen. But why do people feel like you are obligated to them? Like yo, I'm not even talking about family. I'm talking about people that you know. Hey, yaa ngi biirati de dangaa amaat beneen lu sa yoon su fekkee dama bugg a neex nag su fekkee ne dama bugg a am suma doom yi all at one go, it's your business. Gambians need to generally just mind their own business. And I'm talking from, and I say this with utmost respect. And one thing that I am proud of is the family that I got married to are amazing. When I say they're amazing, when I was about to get married, people were like, "Hey, Eftrame, you degulo poldi." I'm gonna get a bit personal here. And I met my mother-in-law and my father-in-law, and they were the most amazing two people I have ever met. They were more open-minded than my own parents. And my sister-in-laws were just likewise. And I thought, you know what? If this is bliss, this is alhamdulillah. But then I realized, whenever I had like a dispute, because whenever I had a dispute with my spouse, I remember two things. I don't go to bed mad at my spouse or my husband. Number two, it always used to be me or him taking things too seriously. Or I see someone, I have a habit of saying, okay, I'm gonna, excuse my language, chuck it in the bucket. I say chuck it in the FUCK bucket. That means I agree to disagree. And when I'm asked a question, I say I plead the fifth, wherever it's just my say. Because I don't think I owe anybody an explanation. And I feel like Gambians need to understand that you don't owe an explanation when it comes to you and your spouse. So my final words to somebody that hasn't, I'm going to wrap up now. My final words to somebody that hasn't been married before, that isn't married before, don't rush. Billahi, you'll thank me later. I'm not saying go out and have a lot of sex. I'm just saying do not rush. Find the right partner that you can gel with, because if the whole intention of marriage is eternity. But don't beat yourself up if some moromi yeb de say muy góor wala jigéen and people are like, ayo kañ la nak, ayo danga wara say nak. Like, take your time, because mistakes don't happen, lessons happen. And if you're married, my advice to you, I haven't been in this for a long time. I just 4 years like last to say. But in all honesty, I believe that with everything that happens around you, you have to keep your unit as tight as possible. And your unit is you, your husband, and your child or your children. Anything else other than that, your mother-in-law is important, your sisters-in-laws are important. All of these people are important. They all fit into the puzzle somehow. But everybody should set themselves boundaries. And those boundaries are, this is my marriage. Okay, there's a saying in Aku. This na mi man a lekan so. And this na mi woman a lekan so. Awi tan na so a one time. Awi im tan na so a one time. And if you go in correspondence with this, you will not have any mistakes. Be honest with each other, love each other, and most importantly, you're not always right. Learn to compromise, learn to practice patience, even in an argument. You cannot both win. So sometimes it's all right, girls. You can give him a chance to win, and just say, you know what? Okay, you win, even if you don't mean it. but it's important to just let shit go. Don't carry, because the minute you start carrying, you in this box, this beautiful box that you're trying to build for yourself, you'll be filling it with just hatred and malice and all sort of just things that will not move your home forward. People need to wake up, as Ida Kaba has said. People need to wake up. You know, and in every home there needs to be God. Even if you worship Allah, if you worship God, if you're Sikh, if you're Muslim, every single home needs a religious boundary. You need to believe in something, a greater power that is bigger than yourself, that will carry you forward. And my final closing thoughts are: love one another, be there for one another, and just make sure you're always a shoulder to cry on for your partner. I'm going to sign off. I've seen so many comments. I'm sorry I didn't respond, but I've seen a lot of Haruna Drame. I've seen a lot of Hazim Tabals. I've seen a lot of Auntie Ida Kaba, Umi Balda, I see you too, Tutu, C. Jan, I see you, and everybody that sent in a message. You know, it's if like I said, Juka, I've seen you as well, Aliu Badu. There's so many people that are tuned in, and I'm loving the affection, and I appreciate the attention that you're giving me for the past 1 hour and 15 minutes. But like I said, the show is called the Chit Chat Show with Chat. It's not a show. Before my Nina comes to me, no, it's not a show. It's the Chit Chat with Chat, and I'm signing out. I'll be back on Saturday, inshallah, but I'm gonna try and make it a bit later than usual, because I'll be talking about things, and the things that I want to talk about is not kosher for kids. It's what I was talking about earlier, but a bit more in depth, and a bit more okay, go hati damay waxtaan affaire jonge ak sa jëkkër, ak jonge ak sa jabar, ak yeah. So I'll be back on Saturday, inshallah. It will probably be around 10 o'clock, but I will be telling you the times myself, and hopefully I've spoken to you from my heart, and hopefully you received it into your homes, and you work on your relationships. But last 2 words: never go to bed on an argument. Number 2, make sure you have love, respect, and most importantly, God in your home. I'm Chadrame Jalo, and I'm signing out. Bye bye.